stream. We're talking about there are no friends in boxing. And I was looking at what Dante's Boxing Nations, Key Sports TV, even Blue Belt Sports TV channels were talking about concerning that, concerning Tank, Shakur Stevenson, Richardson Hitchens. And even the issues between Shakur and Devin Haney. But the thing about it is, right, these guys had history together, and in a good way. Shakur helped Richardson Hitchens, even sometimes supply the money in the amateurs to get around, do things. Richardson Hitchens sparred Shakur a lot as well. They did work together, but you got to understand something. If Richardson Hitchens wasn't benefiting from the sparring and Shakur, they weren't mutually benefiting from the sparring, because nobody's a sparring partner out here. Guys are working on their game. That's why they sparring. They're doing it to benefit them. They're not getting paid. They're not getting paid just to be a sparring partner. Okay? So what you guys have to understand is each man is in his own lane, perfecting himself, focusing on himself. That's what boxing is. Boxing is not a team sport. A lot of people like to say boxing is a team sport. It's not true. Everything's on the fighter. Okay? You have to get your trainer. You could fire a trainer. You could hire a trainer. You could fire a manager. You could hire a manager. You could fire your promoter. You could hire a new promoter. Stuff like that, right? It's all really, everything comes down to the boxer. They can get some advice. They can get good mentorship. They can get good guidance, but everything falls on you as a boxer. You have a lot of responsibilities. You can delegate them out to your team, but you have the final say on everything. As we can see clearly, Ryan Garcia knows how to maneuver the terrain pretty well, and he's getting the fights he wants. And kudos to him on that. Adrian Broner used to get the fights he wanted as well for a certain period of time. So Floyd Mayweather got the fights he wanted as well, and he would delegate certain things to his team. So you have to understand, in boxing, everybody got to stay in their own lane. Meaning, you can only look out for the things you're in control of, which is yourself. It's an individual sport. It's not a team sport in any way, shape, or form. If the boxer loses, it still comes down to the boxer. They may blame the trainer, but at the end of the day, the one who lost the fight wasn't the trainer. It was the boxer. You're going in there and you're taking the punishment. You're the one that has to prepare. You're the one that has to motivate yourself. If somebody else is motivating you and you can't motivate yourself, then that could be the end of your career right there. You have to be self-motivated. Nobody has to tell you what to do. Nobody should have to tell you what to do. Meaning, in terms of motivating yourself to go to the next level. You should be looking for that. That's why Anthony Joshua changed trainers. He keeps on seeking to become better all the time, because it's all between himself. That's why you have to be spiritually, mentally, physically, there. Right? That's why cutting corners is not a good thing, because there are consequences to that. And it may not happen immediately at the lower tiers, but as you go up levels, every little bit counts. So, ain't nobody holding Shakur's hand when he's training. He ain't got no buddy there cheering him on who's a boxer and he's in the same division as him. There ain't nobody like that. Richardson Hitchens is not even in the same division as Shakur. And Shakur's already, separating himself from Richardson Hitchens. How he's talking about it, right? And Shakur should watch his back with Keyshawn Davis as well. And even Terrence Crawford, even though Terrence Crawford will never face Shakur. And Terrence Crawford, of course, gave a lot of information to Shakur. And always speaks well about it. Don't get it twisted. If Shakur was to end up in the same division as Terrence Crawford, believe you me, Terrence Crawford would be looking for that work. And they would not be close friends and supportive of each other like they are now. Okay? And that's just what it is. Because Terrence Crawford puts in work for Terrence Crawford. He don't put in work for Shakur. Okay? He'll help Shakur, but he's not putting in no work for Shakur. That Shakur has to put in work for himself, and so on and so on. So a lot of y'all don't understand this, and I don't know if Shakur I think Shakur and all the boxers in boxing understand this, but I think the fans don't understand this, and then y'all start to pick sides and get emotional about stuff. You understand? But boxing is not a sport where it's not a team sport, right? You may root and cheer for a fighter, right? Who might even be in your division, but the reason you're rooting and cheering is because you have him next. Because if he gets through this fight, then he faces you. But once that fight is you're on to face him, y'all are not friends. Y'all are not friends. I remember Shane Mosley talking about how Oscar De La Hoya was his friend and they're good friends and stuff. And you know what? Shane Mosley wasn't going out in alignment with Oscar while they were training. That wasn't happening. Okay, Shane Mosley was looking out for Shane Mosley and preparing as best as he could and looking for the formula to beat Oscar. That's why the fights were so competitive. So I think a lot of people get confused between what boxers call friendship. Of course, after the boxers are retired, some boxers, they become good friends and buddies because they shared similar experiences and stuff. And so then they can be friends because the competition is over. All right. And even then, in conversation, you hear them very competitive with each other and saying certain things with each other because they still are competitive. All right. And don't get it tied up. People feel boxers hold animosity in their heart for other fighters. You know, some of the cleanest people you'll ever see, even Teofimo Lopez and Rolly Romero, they may talk their nonsense on the side, but Rolly's probably got a heart pure like gold. He's probably one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Okay? And Teofimo Lopez. They're probably not, you can't be somebody who's bitter, resentful, and go into that ring to beat somebody up. Those things keep you back. Negative energies keep you back. So you see Teo talking and stuff, and of course he's throwing out the bait, and you know he's trolling people and stuff like that. That's fun for him. He's having fun with the media, right? He's having this little fun, but trust me. And again, there's a couple things I want to say about the sport of boxing that I just feel like this is my contribution to the equation because some of y'all get too caught up in stuff. Y'all have to understand something. Right? With these boxers, right? These boxers, of course, you got to have a certain mentality going to a fight, to win a fight, right? But what a lot of you miss and what a lot of you don't understand about these fighters is that a lot of times these guys, they're workaholics. They work really, really hard, okay? They work really, really hard. So to meet the media is kind of like relief. It's kind of the more relaxed version of things. A lot of you fans disrespect fighters. When the fighters behind closed doors, they don't disrespect each other. It's nothing but love. And they've been in that atmosphere of encouragement and love and support throughout their career. Truly amateurs, you go to the opponent's corner, you shake the opponent's hand and their team, because most of these guys grew up with each other, so they know each other, they know their teams. And if you ever watch at the end of a fight, the winner always offers words of encouragement, generally speaking, to the loser, right? Generally, that's what happens. They compliment them. They say you're a hell of a fighter. You know, you just keep on working on certain things. And some of them, after they fight a fighter, they talk with each other and they keep in communication, like Kambosos and Haney. You know, Kambosos was getting little tips from Haney on how to do this and how to do that to elevate his game. It's a fraternity that's very interesting. So a lot of y'all think, you know, boxers, like, you know, to the Tank fans, you know, y'all think that Tank's got animosity for Devin Haney, got animosity for Shakur Stevenson. Tank don't have no animosity. Tank, y'all see Tank is a funny guy. He tells a lot of jokes. He's actually a light-hearted person at heart and a very kind person. Tank's a very kind person, okay? Contrary to popular opinion, people think he's a machine and in the ring, when he's about it, he's about it. Don't get it twisted. But he's a very smart guy too. But Tank is not this guy, you know, that Like how the Mike Tyson image where, he beat up people, he beat up a cameraman, he beat up this guy. Tank's not that dude. And he's going through a lot in his personal life with all his baby mamas and stuff like that. But he's not that kind of dude, okay? So you have to understand that these guys got big, big hearts. Most boxers have big hearts, And that's what people don't know. They got hearts of gold. If you only hear the things these guys do outside of boxing for people, you'll realize, and even for their families, what the kind of things they do for their families. Y'all would say, man, these guys are just, because you got to be pure inside. You really have to have a pure heart inside to fight. If your heart ain't right, you're not going to win no fight. A fighter has to be pure inside and out. If you foul in any way, karma will come back to get you, man. So, I know this sounds weird, but some of the nicest people, just don't catch them at the wrong time, but some of the nicest people you'll find on the planet are boxers. Okay? They're nice people. All of them. Rolly Romero, the interviewers find out that this guy's really nice. He's actually a really nice guy. And he's not putting on anything. That is Rolly that you're seeing there. But he really has a heart of gold. He really is a sensitive person. He really does care about people and stuff like that. But he's not going to be taken advantage of, So, I say this to say, Rolly reminds me a little bit of Adrian Broner. And by the way, shout out to Adrian Broner. I got nothing but love for that guy because he's a nice guy. He got a heart of gold. He's been fighting his demons like we all are, fighting something of some kind. And he's fighting his demons. But I just pray God that Adrian can win. I just want him to win that. I want him to win that battle. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, boxing's not, there ain't no friends in boxing, my friend. Okay? It's competition. And it's all down to one individual. And so, if you're trying to get guys chummy, buddy, especially if they're going to face each other. Sometimes they say honorable things to each other, but that don't mean they chummy, buddy. You're not going to be chummy, buddy with somebody you're about to beat up. You're just not going to be. You'll be cordial. You'll be restrained, like Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. But don't get it twisted. They're not friends. You know what I mean? They may admire attributes about each other, but when you're going to war, you're going to go to war. We're talking about. There's no friendship in that. Ain't nobody friends at that point in time. Not at all. And so even people who you may have helped to reach a certain point in the sport of boxing, 13 minutes in. Even people you may have, people you may have helped to reach a certain point in the sport of boxing. And trust me, Tank has helped a lot of fighters come up. Adrian Broner has helped a lot of fighters come up in the sport of boxing. Some of them turn on him, but it's cool. They'll turn on you because you're competition. All right? And some of them will give their honest opinion on certain things, like Richardson Hitchens. Shakur Stevenson helped Richardson Hitchens a lot in his career. A lot. Now, Richardson Hitchens was talking about if he was Tank, he'd go after Shakur right now. Because Richardson Hitchens is looking at it from an analytical eye, not realizing his statements are going to go all around the world. Fight hype is going to put out everywhere, right? Now, Richardson Hitchens, he got to understand. And Shakur Stevenson got to understand. I mean, you might have helped this dude a lot. Shakur helped a lot of fighters. Shakur has helped a lot of fighters. Gary Russell Jr. has helped a lot of fighters. All right? These fighters have helped a lot of fighters. Okay? Shakur is one of the nicest people you'll ever find. If you want to know what the real Shakur is like, he talks some mad trash, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the real Shakur helps his family. The real Shakur looks out for his little siblings. The real Shakur takes care of his daughter. The real Shakur has been helping fighters since the amateurs. If you needed money to go somewhere, if you needed X, Y, and Z, he would try to help you. All right? So when Shakur says he feels like he's betrayed, I get what he's saying, but at the end of the day, Shakur, it's good that you help these guys along so that you can get this competition. Because guess what? Guess what? And Shakur Stevens is one of the most stand-up guys. Even though he be talking mad shit, he be shit talking like crazy. He's one of the most stand-up guys in the business. Trust me. All right? He may be talking a lot of crap out there, and so fans are kind of against him and stuff. But he's a stand-up guy. He really is. And he's helped a lot of boxers along the way. All right? He's helped a lot of guys. But he's supposed to be confident in his skills. He's supposed to say he would beat Devin Haney. He's supposed to say, if he doesn't say it, then what is he doing in boxing? You have to have the confidence in boxing. Which Shakur has. And he has great boxing IQ. Okay? And he's been around the best boxers on the planet currently in Terrence Crawford. All right? So he's supposed to say that. Okay? Should he take offense to Richardson Hitchens and what Richardson Hitchens said? Me personally, I understand he invested a lot and he's helped, Richardson Hitchens, also known as Africa. He's helped him out a lot. But to be honest with you, Richardson Hitchens is free to say whatever he wants to say. And Richardson Hitchens should have no apologies because, like I said before, in the sport of boxing, Richardson Hitchens is one weight class above Shakur. Okay? So what happens if Richardson Hitchens has to face Shakur? And Richardson Hitchens said something like, if I had to face Shakur, man, I'd go after him now. Right? He said that. And I know Shakur will feel some kind of way because it's like, I've been with this guy, helped this guy through. Yeah, okay. That might be so. But you know what? He's entitled to his opinion. No hard feelings. Because who says Shakur won't face Richardson Hitchens down the road? Right? And Richardson Hitchens, Shakur is looking at him and saying, oh, he thinks I'm vulnerable there. That's what you get out of that. And it just makes you work harder. It just makes you work to prove those guys wrong. That's fuel. Cool. You really think I'm that, huh? Okay. That's what they think. Okay, we're gonna work. We're gonna go back in the lab and do some more work. Okay. That's what you think, huh? Okay. That's all that is. That's all that is. Just means more lab work. You know what I mean? Yeah, so me personally, I don't take those things. If you are somebody who's internally driven and internally motivated, those things don't mean nothing. And it's just Shakur just throwing like rap shots back. He's shooting back on Twitter or whatever, just for the sake of shooting it back to let Richardson Hitchens know, I heard you. I heard what you said. I heard what you said, homie. And maybe you will have to answer for that later on when you face me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm gonna make you answer for that. That's all that means. And Richardson Hitchens, if you say what you say, yo, this the sport you got into is one in which you don't ever regret what you say. And Richardson Hitchens said, I could have said it another way. Maybe. And truth be told, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. You know what I mean? If you think, Tank could do something to Shakur, that's what you feel. That's what you feel. Doesn't mean what you feel is true. Doesn't mean what you feel is real. Because Shakur showed us something against a fighter who, like you said, could crack and all of that in De Los Santos. He showed us a lot of stuff. And it's not going, this is another thing that they say in boxing. They say, oh, you just need to cut off the ring. There's some fighters, though. It's not easy to cut off the ring with. You know why? Because they have something called foot speed. And they know when to change. They know when to change up speeds on you so that they can maintain range. And so De Los Santos was never going to be able to trap Shakur completely into a corner, even if he used the method that Canelo used. And the reason that is so is because it's very difficult to do. It's because when you saw Canelo against Bivol, you saw it was very hard for him to trap Bivol into corners. Because there's certain moves, and once you got that timing and that foot speed we talk about, where you could just change gears and get out of it real quick and pivot out of it, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to cut off a person like that. And even Canelo versus Jermell Charlo, the reason Canelo couldn't really stop Charlo was because Charlo had that foot speed on Canelo. So he was circling the ring, and he could just get out of there or change directions and then get out of there. When you can move either way in the ring, easily, circling, it's very difficult for a guy to trap you. Very, very difficult to get you down in the corner. Even if he breaks up the ring into sectors. It's still very difficult for him to trap you because you got that foot speed on him. So anytime you want to really truly still maintain and keep that distance, you just change speeds and pivot out of there. Bounce off the ring, pivot out of there. Or just change directions. Change directions, go one way, then go back the other way, then go one way, and pivot out of there. When he's closing range to a certain distance. So it's not easy to just, people say, oh, it just cut off the ring. Gennady Golovkin was excellent at cutting off rings, right? He couldn't cut off the ring on Canelo. Couldn't. Couldn't even touch Canelo in the first fight. So, I say this just to say that people shouldn't be hurt. Guys like Shakur, I know these guys do a lot for fighters. I know what they do. I know they help out a lot of fighters. And they have helped them out in the amateurs and they help them out in the pros. For a guy who sucked up all that information to turn around and sort of disrespect you, or you take it as him disrespecting you and like, oh, somebody else is better than you. And Shakur's like, hey man, you was in my camp. Now you going to Tank's camp? What you a Tank fan now? I get where Shakur's coming from. But that's the nature of the sport. He doesn't have an obligation. He doesn't have loyalty to you. He doesn't need to be loyal to you. Zab Judah has his own opinions on Floyd Mayweather. That don't mean that Floyd Mayweather didn't bring him in to get that work with sparring. And even then, Zab would compliment Floyd on certain things, but he wouldn't compliment. Floyd is not in his top 10 best fighters of all time. Zab said that. Does that stop Floyd from getting work with Zab? Absolutely not. Because it's not personal. That's Zab's opinion. Zab has put down Floyd a couple times too. in spite of everything. Zabas praised Floyd and then turn around and he would, say Floyd ain't all that. Does that stop Floyd from getting work with Zab? No. Because Floyd's working on Floyd. Floyd is Zab Floyd's friend. Zab's always been Floyd's friend. Since the amateurs, they've been friends. But when they faced each other, they weren't friends. Right? Because there's no friends in boxing. If I gotta fight you, but after you finish with boxing, after you finish your boxing career, of course you guys can talk cordially and be friends and be close friends too. And if you're really friends, you give each other work. You give each other a job. You give each other a fight. If you say you're friends. If you're truly a friend in boxing, you give the other guy a job. You'll give him some work. You'll get him a payday. That's what friends do. They fight each other. And while they fighting each other, they're not friends. You know what I mean? But these days, people are saying, oh no, I'm not going to fight him because he's my brother. I'm big brother, he little brother. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. You fight people, even if you give them your secrets, you're not going to give them all your secrets, right? You're going to give them the game, but you ain't going to give them all the game. A sensei always hold back something, right? Sure, Terrence Crawford knows that. So you're not trying to give the whole game to them that you have, that is. You know what I mean? So that's what I got for you guys. I am what you need. So, this whole thing about rocking with a guy or not rocking with a guy. Listen, man, every man for himself. That's how boxing works. Every man's for himself. Your obligation is only to yourself. You're not obligated to nobody else. Especially if you guys end up in the same division. When Shakur called out Devin Haney, and Devin Haney was talking about this, we had disagreement and blah, blah. Same thing with Sean and Terrence Crawford. When a man's calling you out, he have all right to call you out. Because there are no friends in boxing. Gotta get that work. Now after you got that work, after that fight is resolved, y'all can have amicable relationships no matter what happens. Because if you don't have to face that guy ever again, it is what it is. That's the nature of the sport. Okay. Just checking the time. Almost half an hour. So I said enough about that. I thought I'd talk about it because I've seen Key Sports TV, Dante's Boxing Nation, even Blue Blood Sports TV talking about it. And I'm like, that stuff, fans shouldn't get involved in that stuff. That stuff is irrelevant because all the boxers know deep down inside, they ain't got no friends because they may have to face those people there. They more than likely have to face those people, so they ain't got no friends. They got intel on everybody, It's all about competition. So they're not they'll be friendly with each other when they don't have to face each other, but once they have to face each other, it's on. And they try to generate excitement by using Twitter to hype up fights and stuff like that now. But if you're going to use Twitter, like Tito Hurtado was saying, Tito Garcia Hurtado, he was saying, Be about it though. Don't be throwing names out there and people out there, and you're not making those fights happen. Then you're just making a host of the drama, and you're not really following through with it. So that's one of those things those young bucks has got to realize. I don't know what you need. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace for now. I'm gonna catch you in the next video. By the way, you can donate via PayPal. The link is in the description. Peace to you guys.